Well, last week on the Personal Growth Podcast, the boys figured out how to Zoom, and now they're back this week under quarantine. It's episode 28, coming to you simultaneously from 3 different locations, one of which being the TriPoint Studios. Welcome to episode 28 of the Personal Growth Podcast.
Sweet. Thank you, announcer.
Yes, thank you, announcer.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Okay, so starting off this podcast, let's just kind of talk about how our week has gone.
Word. Why don't you go first? Well, what was your week like, Dwayne?
So my week was uneventful for the most part, aside from work. And something that I have been terrible about is so every Wednesday I've been compiling a subscription list of people to email out whenever there's a new pep talk or a new podcast. And I have not done anything with like MailChimp or anything, so I'm going to have to figure that out. And I keep forgetting to mail the subscription email out to people. So I'm like a week and a half behind there.
Okay.
It's just a thing that I was thinking about right now I need to get better about and or utilize MailChimp because I still don't know how that thing works.
Right.
So producer's probably going to have some stuff that he can help us with that knowledge-wise. So that I don't remember if this happened since we recorded last or not, but the governor has placed a shelter-in-place order.
Yep, that was after, I think.
I had thought so, yeah. So that's been interesting. I have not left my house aside to go to work, so that's been real weird. Like I've done a little bit of food shopping too, but so my week has been mostly uneventful. A lot of I've listened to like 3 audiobooks, watched a lot of Netflix. How many episodes of Frasier have you watched, Eric?
I actually haven't watched any Frasier. I just finished watching Cheers a few days ago.
That's right.
And
Cheers.
then a friend of mine put me on to this show Outlander, which is about
Terrible.
a woman living. Huh?
Terrible is
Say
what
what?
it is. It's terrible. It's a terrible show.
It's not a terrible show.
No, it's super good, but it's fucked up.
Yeah. So you've seen it.
I watched like the first season and I couldn't watch anymore.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm like midway through the second season. Yeah, so for those of you who are unfamiliar, Outlander is a show about a woman who is living in the 40s, the 1940s, and is in Scotland with her husband, and by some sort of magic or whatever, is transported back to 1700 Scotland, and it's a whole thing. I like it. I think it's really like there's a lot of like real graphic violence that some of it makes me go, ugh. It makes me cringe. But otherwise, it's not so bad, and it has made me start working on a Scottish accent, which I'm not that good at, but I'm like doing it in my head all day long. Like I'm calling people lassie in my mind. And I'm like, aye, lassie. Yeah, aye. You're a tough lass. But see, that's more Irish, so I don't know. I'm working on it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Because for the last week and change, I haven't been able to be in the same room with my son because he is under quarantine at his Nana's house. Because we decided, his mother and I, that it would be the best bet for him would be to stay with her because she doesn't have to leave the house at all for anything. And I can't stay home because I have to work, which I've been doing practically every day. Every day of this so far, aside from like 2 days, I've been at work. So I can't self-quarantine all the time. So that's been hard. But thankfully through like Facebook Messenger, I can see him and talk to him. But it's, it's like if he was coming to visit me in prison, like it's through the glass. Like I can't touch him. I can't hug him, so that's been rough. And, truth be told, I'm not in a very good mood because of it. And this morning, I found out that on top of everything else, I probably need to get a new battery for my car because I tried to get to work and the car wouldn't start. So that was nice to see at 7 o'clock this morning. That was a nice thing to have happen on top of everything else. So your dutiful co-host, is hanging on by a goddamn thread. I'll tell you that right now. I am not enjoying this situation at all. Not even a little bit. And I don't know how to like I don't want to get all like emotional and whatever, but on the show, because I try to maintain a level head as best I can. But like, producer and I were talking before, and he said that it might be helpful for some of our other listeners who might be going through the same thing to hear me talk about it a little bit. So that's where my head is at. I'm not enjoying this at all, and I don't know. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm very upset. So that's where I am. That's where my head is this week. So much so that I almost was like, you know what, just do this episode without me, because I'm just not in the fucking mood at all. But then I thought, no, I don't know if there are people who I don't know what people get from this show. Like I don't know what they're listening for or whatever. But I just, I thought about it, and about what Scott said, a producer. And I just was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it, and we'll see how it goes. And if it helps somebody, it helps somebody. Maybe it'll help me. I don't know. Maybe it'll help me to talk it out. But yeah, I'm not I'd rather be asleep. Like I just want to sleep until this is all over, because I am not dealing with it well.
Yeah, dude, I feel for you. We're experiencing some super unprecedented times, man. Like there's no playbook for this shit.
No, there isn't. And
you know me, I always try to like project this happy-go-lucky positive facade, and I think it's real because like I want to create my own reality, and when I speak things, I feel what I speak. But at the same time, it's irresponsible of me to not acknowledge some of the fear that is there, like you and I both are super fortunate to have work, but like regardless of how fortunate we are, we're going through some shit that we don't know how to deal with. And there's so much fear that is being spread across like some of the only means of communication that we have right now, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like we're just surrounded with it. And it's interesting because like these technologies exist for us to be able to connect. And I think that's amazing. And that's like the thing that I can say that I'm the most grateful for. But at the same time, these tools that we use for connection are also the thing that is spreading like wildfire fear. Yeah. And I mean, I dove into a little rabbit hole this morning on my way to work. A friend of mine posted something about how he's all like some stats about how many people are dying and this and that and the other. And he's all like, he made that comment similar to what you said about like losing recess because 1 or 2 kids aren't following the rule kind of thing. But in a different verbiage. And he says, if you're at work right now and you're out and about and like possibly coming into contact with this virus and you're continuing to move on from place to place, then you're fucking part of the problem. And like some dude commented on it. He's all like, oh, you're starting to sound like so-and-so. And then somebody else commented like, if you're he's like, my boss won't let us not work. And then he's like, well, then your boss doesn't give a fuck about you. And I was like, coming from where I'm at right now, like I feel like my boss gives a lot of fucks about me, and there's some mutual, like, since we live together, it's important for both of us to be able to pay our bills, right? And absolutely, like, I never once the thought never once crossed my mind that he doesn't care. But like I'm thinking, I see some of these comments, and I go to one of the other person's pages, a person I have no idea who he is, and he starts, like, for days, he's got stuff that he's posted that is helping this whole thing to spread like wildfire, like the mental virus that's going on right now. And some of the stuff that he said sounds super legit, and it made me start to think, like, should I not be working? And then I was like, fuck, what, like, if we were to just stop working right now, I'd be able to make it through this month to get rent paid. And then the next month, I don't fucking have any idea how that's going to happen. And I was like, well, I've got my car. I could live in my car. And I'm like, well, if I don't have any fucking money, I'm going to have to return the vehicle because I can't afford to make the payments on it. And then I was like, well, I have that truck. You could sleep in the truck. And then I was like, well, that truck barely goes like 10 miles an hour. And like, so the rabbit hole I went down today was like, well, this is so unlike me. But
yeah, well, because we're like you said, this is an unprecedented time for all of us. Like, this isn't just something that's affecting Idaho. It's affecting the world.
yeah,
Like, everybody in the world is being affected by this all at the same time. It's like a fucking Michael Jackson music video premiere in the 80s. Like, it's hitting everybody all at once, all at the same time. And it's much less entertaining than Thriller. But yeah, and like in some countries, they've shut everything down. They've frozen all kind of rent and other kinds of things, and like rent payment, bill payment, things like that, which would be great if they would do that here, because then we could all just stay home until the wave is over, and then start fresh when everything opens up. But that's not going to happen here, because it just won't. It's just not going to happen. And so people like us have to keep going to work, because we don't have the luxury of being able to work from home.
Yeah.
And we still have bills to pay. We still need to eat. And, you know, for like, I get only leaving your house if you absolutely have to. And to do otherwise is, it is a little bit a part of the problem, because you don't need to have a barbecue with your friends just because everybody's off.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to stay 6 feet away from each other. No, it doesn't matter. Shut up. Stay home.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you need to leave the house to go to work or go to the store to buy supplies, you should be home. And people have to be there to provide you with the food that you're buying and the toilet paper that you're hoarding. So it's impossible, unless we all just had unlimited funds, to buy everything we needed over fucking Amazon and have it sent to us. You know what I mean? Like, this is unprecedented is the best word for it, because this has literally never happened before in anybody's lifetime. I think maybe the Spanish flu, I think in the 20s was something that people had.
And then before that, the dinosaurs.
Yeah. So we don't know what happened to them, because they can't tell us about it. They couldn't write it in books and pass it down for generations.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know. And I was trying to play along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's fucking nuts. And just, you know, we're all in this together, which you would think would be bringing more people together, because it's something we're all dealing with all at the same time. But there are still people out there who want to be dicks about it and try to make it worse for everybody. And like, I don't know. I don't understand why things have to be the way that they are, if that makes any sense. Like, I wish everything was different. Like, I wish the people in charge would have handled this better initially, because and this is just based on stuff that I haven't done a lot of research into this, because the more I try to research this thing, the more I want to shoot myself in the face, because it just makes me more depressed. But from what I've heard is that the leadership in this country dropped the ball from the very beginning, because they didn't take it seriously. I heard that some of them heard they were like debriefed about this in January, and instead of making plans to be prepared for this, they started selling off stock, because they knew the stock market was gonna drop 1,000,000 points or whatever it is. And then, you know, the president tried to downplay it because he didn't want to hurt his chances at re-election. And you know, and again, this is all one-sided information. So I don't know, like, I don't know how true any of it is. I just know what I've seen, and it seems like this is being bungled from the top down. And if they had a better response initially, we might not have to be dealing with this right now. But I don't know, because every other country is dealing with the same thing. I don't know if